article came out yesterday. It says coronavirus appends nation as 3 in 4 Americans' lives changed by pandemic. Poll. And it says a new ABC News IPSOS poll shows a far different portrait of a country. As a deepening public health crisis rocks the nation, this new ABC News poll released Friday shows a far different portrait of a country than from only 1 week ago, as nearly 3 in 4 Americans now say their lives have been appended in some way by the novel coronavirus, and President Donald Trump's approval for his handling of the outbreak is on the rise. In the new poll, 55% of Americans approve of the president's management of the crisis compared to 43% who disapprove. Trump's approval on this issue is up from last week when the numbers were nearly reversed. Only 43% approved of Trump's handling of this pandemic and 54% disapproved in last week's poll. Over the course of the week, the president has shifted his approach and tone, giving daily briefings on the crisis since Saturday, alongside the White House task force leading the response to the coronavirus and announcing some severe measures to combat the virus. He has also taken on a more somber tone, saying of his own tenor, people actually liked it, as the reality of the scale of the virus set in. So I just want to throw that out. Randall, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So a week ago, the numbers were flipped against President Trump, and now here we are a week later saying 55% are approving of the president and what he's doing versus 43%.
Like an explanation of it,
Yeah,
or
what do
just
you
my
what do you,
reaction to it?
what do you think? Do you think the media is, he's coming off more paternal, more caring, you know, calming the people?
Well, I think, yes, I think his outward demeanor has changed rather than being, whatever. I'm not worried about it. Which I think was
Like,
his
whatever. Yeah, I don't care.
was like
Whatever.
which was his confidence, but
Right.
I think his handlers persuaded him to, you can still have the same sort of confidence, but express it in another way. That we're gonna deal with this. We're taking steps to deal with it, and I think that was the case before. I mean, probably not going back to the fall, before it really became a pandemic. Um, but but I think that his confidence has always been the same. It's been the I don't know. I'm not a Trump biographer, but just observing him over the years, he gets in trouble not only on Twitter and stuff he says, because he speaks in partial sentences like I do. It's like he just assumes that the listener knows where he's going with stuff.
I've never had a problem understanding him.
I haven't either,
Maybe it's
but
because I'm from New York.
I've seen those, on the other side of the aisle, lambast him for saying things like, um, you know, the NASA's plans, to go to Mars, of which the moon is a part, and the moon isn't part of Mars, and oh, what a stupid idiot! He doesn't know anything. He didn't study the solar system in elementary school. What a buffoon! And blah blah blah. He wasn't saying that the moon was part of Mars as part of the plans. That they're not discarding the moon. That's still important, but Mars is anyway. I mean, I listen to it. And I'm like, oh, what a stupid idiot! He thinks the moon is part of Mars. They're just things that he says
Right.
like that, and so I think all along he's had this confidence that we're going to do what it takes to overcome it. But the way it came out at first was just, I'm not concerned. We're going to deal with this,
Right.
whatever.
And he's still saying that. I mean,
He's still saying that,
he's
but in different words.
it's more like it's gonna be okay, people.
Oh.
And then you got Mr. Stoic Pence, who, is Mr. I wouldn't say personality because he's really not. He's a good guy. I just don't think his personality is all that. So let me look at the question or comment here. Boo Yankees.
What?
Yeah, really, Sean? Yeah. Anyway, he says Boston rules. No, they don't. Anyway, and then Kara, did I say that right? Is it Kara? Kara? A quote prophet unquote on Sid Roth said it would end come Passover and that the virus was created. Oh, I believe the virus. This is what I personally think without hearing 500 hours commentary on it. This is just what I think. You can take it for what it's worth. I'm not a prophet. Don't claim to be. Other people have called me one, but I'm not. I do think it's a bioweapon. I think it was created in China. I do believe that. That's why they call it, what did they call it, right? I think Bill Gates is behind it, and I also think the World Health Federation is behind it. I know that they ran, what do you call that, Randall? What's the right word? The mock pandemic. What do you call that? Exercise.
Well, in the TED Talk that
Yeah.
Bill Gates gave in 2014, he called them germ games or something like that,
Yeah.
kind of like war games. But
Yeah.
event
Bill
two,
Gates
event,
is
event,
not a nice person.
Event 201 is what this particular event,
Right.
led by Johns Hopkins University World Health Organization, and funded by
John Hopkins.
Well, primarily by the Gates Foundation.
Right. So, but, you know, Bill and Melinda Gates, even though they play pickleball, people, seriously, well, they have good, you know, choice of athletic sports.
Well, more beautiful when we play together.
They want to kill off a large part of the population, and that is documented. It's a fact. Okay, so with that said, I think that they want to push a vaccine on us at some point. Maybe not now, but maybe later. Okay, whatever. The question comes in: are they going to do it? Are they going to force mandate it? If they mandate it, which I know I have some friends who are like on the front lines of the vaccination wars, they believe a lot of people are being forced to mandate. They're being forced to vaccinate. They're being mandated to vaccinate children that they don't want and all this other stuff. So let me thank Ariel Ministries, though, for sponsoring the show, since we only got about 15 minutes left. Ariel.org is the place to go, people. Please write them a note and thank them for sponsoring us. I mean, they really have sponsored us for like 3.5 years on this show. Plus, I worked for them another 3.5 years or 3 years before running their social media. Ariel's been a good friend of our show. If you need a good Easter gift or any type of gift or just good Bible study, get their stuff now while the discount's still in effect until the end of the month. Okay, those of you on the podcast, remember the coupon code is Bible News. You can save 20% when you go to ariel.org. Great Bible teaching there. Also, I want to thank all of you who donate to the show. Any amount can help. It's especially going to be way more needed now that Ariel is gone. So if you find it in your heart to donate to Randall and I at some level, anything would help us out. Just go to our website, BibleNewsRadio.com/give and donate whatever you can. We really appreciate it. If you are somebody who does not yet have a will done, then I want to encourage you to sign up with Legal Shield. You can get in touch with me personally, again, through my website. Just say, hey, I want to talk to you about that legal thing you keep talking about. I will get in touch with you. I'll share with you some information about how you can get the membership and ID Shield as well. And I am going to be doing, those of you who are members, I am going to be doing some member Zooms where I can walk you through and help you with your membership, maybe answer some questions for you. We do have some new COVID handout sheets that Legal Shield has put together literally in the last couple of days to help you know how legally you can deal with stuff, how you can protect yourself. There's a lot of scams going on out there. You know, and a lot of people aren't looking at that stuff. It's very important to be protected. So just get in touch with us there as well. And watch my Facebook, because I will be doing some Zooms. I'm going to try to do 1 or 2 this week that maybe you can sit in on if you want to learn a little bit more, or watch me practice my presentation. It's all in the presentation, people. So that's important. So yeah, tomorrow night, Randall, are we going to do our show at the same time since we don't have church and everything is canceled? Do you want to still do it early or do you want to do it later? We're making an
Yeah.
executive decision right now,
Um,
people.
how about split? Well, yeah, split the difference.
At 7?
7, yeah.
Do it at 7? Okay,
Yeah.
we're just confused. Okay. Well, what we are also thinking about doing is I tweeted out to our text message list, which if you're not on that, text Bible News to 33222. Get on that.
I'm on
Um,
it.
I know that there are some people who wanted to join us in an online fellowship. I was thinking about 2 o'clock Central Time for a Zoom meeting with those of you out there who want to join us. Because I actually have a commitment earlier in the morning. I'm helping some people. But does 2 o'clock sound good to you, Randall, to do like a fellowship time?
Tomorrow?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I can't commit to it, but
you can't. Why?
no, well, because I still have some moving to do. I'm going to
Gotcha.
help move some tables, but I don't know what time that's going to be.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and commit to 2 o'clock either
Okay.
way. Central Time, so that'd be 3 Eastern, um, Mountain, and noon Pacific. So if you want to sleep in, you still can. I'll be up because I'll be helping some people. Um, okay, what else do we got here? You have anything else that you want to share, Randall? That was all the stories I pulled.
Um, no, not really.
No. What?
Oh, that was you were talking about reading something. I read something earlier, and you mentioned probably maybe read it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Randall's
So
brother posted this on his Facebook.
he got it from somewhere else. I don't know where. Give me just about
Yeah, this is a letter, I guess.
20 seconds to
That
locate it.
yeah, this was very moving. It talks about an 80-year-old guy
Yeah.
who was asked for advice or something.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, as far as the conversation, but the content is true.
Right. All right. So I am going to wait here while Bareface does that, and I'm going to
Yeah, okay, here it is. You're going to what?
I am setting my fasting app.
All right.
My intermittent fasting app has a timer on it, and so I'm trying to be disciplined
I
in
just touched my face.
putting the hours in there that I'm actually fasting. Okay, so go ahead.
All right. Well, you may have seen this in your Facebook feed. I don't know. It's not. Uh, so this is borrowed, copied, and pasted. Do the same. So I don't know where it originated from, but I will read it. Titled, "I talked to a man today." Although it should be with a man. Well, yeah. Anyway, I'm keeping this both on screen just so you know.
I know.
All right. I talked with a man today, an 80-plus-year-old man. I asked him if there was anything I could get him while this coronavirus scare was gripping America. He simply smiled, looked away, and said, "Let me tell you what I need. I need to believe at some point in this country my generation fought for. I need to believe in this nation we handed safely to our children and their children. I need to know this generation will quit being a bunch of sissies, that they respect what they've been given, that they've earned what others sacrificed for." I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or if it was going anywhere at all, so I sat there quietly observing. You know, I was a little boy during World War II. Those were scary days. We didn't know if we were going to be speaking English, German, or Japanese at the end of the war. There was no certainty, no guarantees like Americans enjoy today. And no home went without sacrifice or loss. Every house up and down every street had someone in harm's way. Maybe their daddy was a soldier, maybe their son was a sailor, maybe it was an uncle. Sometimes it was the whole damn family, fathers, sons, uncles. Having someone you love sent off to war, it wasn't less frightening than it is today. It was scary as hell. If anything, it was more frightening. We didn't have battlefront news. We didn't have email or cell phones. You sent them away and you hoped. You prayed. You may not hear from them for months, if ever. Sometimes a mother was getting her son's letter the same day Dad was comforting her over their child's death.
Just dropped my phone.
And we sacrificed. You couldn't buy things. Everything was rationed. You were only allowed so much milk per month, only so much bread, toilet paper. Everything was restricted for the war effort. And what you weren't using, what you didn't need, things you threw away, they were saved and sorted for the war effort. My generation was the original recycling movement in America. And we had viruses back then, serious viruses, things like polio, measles, and such. It was nothing to walk to school and pass a house or two that was quarantined. We didn't shut down our schools. We didn't shut down our cities. We carried on without masks, without hand sanitizer. And you know what? We persevered. We overcame. We didn't attack our president. We came together. We rallied around the flag for the war. Thick or thin, we were in it to win. And we would lose more boys in an hour of combat than we lose in entire wars today. He slowly looked away again. Maybe I saw a small tear in the corner of his eye. Then he continued. Today's kids don't know sacrifice. They think a sacrifice is not having coverage on their phone while they freely drive across the country. Today's kids are selfish and spoiled. In my generation, we looked out for our elders. We helped out with single moms whose husbands were either at war or dead from war. Today's kids rush to the store buying everything they can, no concern for anyone but themselves. It's shameful the way America behaves these days. None of them deserve the sacrifices their granddads made. So no, I don't need anything. I appreciate your offer, but I know I've been through worse things than this virus. But maybe I should be asking you, what can I do to help you? Do you have enough pop to get through this? Enough steak? Will you be able to survive with 113 channels on your TV? I smiled, fighting back a tear of my own, now humbled by a man in his 80s. All I could do was thank him for the history lesson, leave my number for emergency, and leave with my ego firmly tucked in my rear. I talked to a man today, a real man, an American man from an era long gone and forgotten. We will never understand their sacrifices. We will never fully earn their sacrifices. But we should work harder to learn about them, learn from them, to respect them.
Yeah. Don't you love that? Isn't that great? Isn't that inspiring? Don't you want to sing, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts back during Desert Storm, back in that was like
How'd you like that?
the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Late 80s, early 90s kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember seeing a freeway overpass in California. 2KY. Instead of, Y2K, which is the kind of scary, but 2KY, like 2,000 soldiers have died in this conflict. Why? And that's tragic. But I thought back to the assault on Iwo Jima, World War II. Americans took an island, a strategic island that was held by Imperial Japanese forces. And 1,100 died in a single day. Taking the island. And by the time the island was taken, I don't know how many. It was, I believe it was well over 2,000 in less than a week's time. And it's good that it's good to care about the loss of life. Every life is important. Someone made in the image of God. And we need to not be callous to the loss of life. But
That's why this is so cool. This is one of the most pro-life things you can think of if you really think
um,
about it.
what's that?
Well, what our government and the world across the world
Um,
is trying to do is
yeah.
save life, even though
Mm,
if you understand the nefarious underlyings of this, it's to wipe out life. But
um,
there's always been
um,
a war between life and death.
always. Yep.
And what I think of when I heard that was, I think about my dad.
Mhm.
My dad, who right now is in 3 minutes from me,
Mhm.
who I can't see in person, and it's driving me crazy. This happens to be the 5-year anniversary of him coming into my life.
Yeah.
Thank you, Facebook, for reminding me. Um, and it's like my
how
my dad's almost 92.
and how often do you hear him complain about his upbringing?
My dad never complains about anything, and that's why, gosh, you guys, I wish you could meet him because
he,
he is, he's a Korean War vet.
yeah,
One of
he
the few
probably could have served in World War II.
that.
But as I recall, assembling the stories, his brothers served in World War II
Hmm.
because when the U.S. entered the war in 1941, I guess he was only 13 then, but it lasted until 45. So he was 17 then, and probably the tale of the war could have gone into many, many young men lied about their age
Right.
so they could go fight.
Yeah.
16-year-olds saying they were 17, going on 18 so they could fight rather
Yeah.
than dodging the draft.
Well, my dad,
They were lying about their age so they could fight. Anyway, your dad, not complaining about life, what did he do in Korea?
he worked. He was in the army,
Mm-hmm.
and he took care of men who were out there with the grenades, and they were walking near the grenades, and
He's clearing
he was
minefields.
clearing
That's what
minefields. Right.
his
And here's the thing, you guys, think about it. If my dad had died in Korea, I would not be here. Randall wouldn't be here with me because I wouldn't be here, right? My
but
dad is a real, true, manly man.
but I
He
mean
is not a wuss in any. I mean, he's got Parkinson's and dementia and still walks.
clearing minefields
No,
isn't a job for
no, and
wimps.
he deals with those memories probably every day.
Because some of his men made mistakes.
Because some of his men didn't listen to him and got blown up
And
in
they're
front of him.
mm-hmm.
So he always. My dad always has these lessons. He tells me like he tells me this story about horses because he grew up on a farm. And some of I recently got some pictures of my grandparents and the horse of my grandparents, and um courtesy of 23andMe connections, just so you know. But I look at that, but like my dad tells stories, and my dad was a person who, well, he still is a person, but he he used to drive a taxi, and he built a restaurant from his hands. He literally built a restaurant. He built it, and then he ran it. And he knows how to work with people. I mean, he knows people. He knows what to stress out about. He knows how to teach lessons. And I can only wonder, I can't say I grieve or anything, but I can only wonder what I would be like if I had actually grown up with him. Because I think he would have taught me so many more lessons about entrepreneurship and doing things. Knowing, and yet the interesting thing is, I am so much like him, from my wit, my humility, my humor, how I pick on people, my massive intelligence, my awesome hair, my big nose, because definitely have that big nose going on. Yeah. Anyway, Yeah. So pray for me because I miss my dad, and I seriously was considering going over to his house today and just like sneaking in, seeing if they would notice I'd showed up. But I'm kind of hard to miss because I have big hair, unless I wore some type of disguise or something. Anyway, all right. So tomorrow night, I guess we're gonna show up at 7 p.m. Central Time. We're gonna do a Zoom congregational type fellowship meeting at 2 p.m. Central Time, and I will tweet that out to my text message list. So make sure you're on that because that's the only way you're going to get the Zoom link. I'm not going to post it on Facebook anywhere. And if you want to be on it and you're not on my text message list, then make sure you message me an email through my website. Okay. All right. So that's it. I hope you have a good night, you guys. I am off now to go be with my friend Jennifer on her church service in California that they're holding virtually because so many churches are. And I hope somehow this show has helped you in some way or encouraged you. And just let us know if there's any topics or anything you'd like us to cover. Just message us, okay? And that should do it. Yeah, we came on a little bit earlier tonight, so if you're not on my text message list, you're not going to get these messages. So text the term Bible News to 33222 later. Okay, you can get put on that. All right, as I always say, people, be bold, stand up, and go with God because He loves you. Yeah, He does.